Guys, it's Rowena again, and welcome back to Rowena's Hobble. Today I'm gonna start it on tarot cards. I love tarot cards; it's my favorite form of divination. I have 9 different decks of tarot cards right now. I have another one that's supposed to get delivered here in like anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. I'm super stoked about that one too, so I won't have the beginning card for that deck in this episode, but hopefully the next one that I do, I will have that deck, and I'm super excited about it. But I'm also excited to start teaching everybody or start helping everybody learn tarot. Now, I'm not going to teach how to do tarot readings just yet. I would rather take the time at the beginning of all of the learning to go through each and every card with you, explain what the cards are and what they mean. Now, based on the deck you're using, there might be some differences here and there on their interpretation of what that card means. So, I'll show you some examples here in a minute of what I mean by that. But the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go over the basics of tarot. And I don't have a deck that I haven't shuffled through, so I can't really show you a good fan of what each side of the deck looks like. But basically, you have two different sets of your deck. You have your major arcana and you have your minor arcana. So your major arcana is big events that are happening, going to happen, have happened, however you read your cards. There are 22 major arcana. And they are labeled 0 to 21, if I'm remembering correctly. I do know the very first card is 0. But they are as follows. They are the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, Justice, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Strength, the Hangman, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. Sorry, I'm looking off to the side. I've got notes. I know tarot. I don't know every card front and back, back to front, top to bottom. So I will be looking at notes every once in a while. But those are your major arcana. Those are used in different spreads as a signifier of you as a person. And if they do pop up in a reading, they are major things that have happened, could happen, will happen, are happening, whichever way you want to look at it. Now, your minor arcana is set up kind of like a deck of cards. So you have 4 suits. Cups, wands, coins, and swords. Those do also change from deck to deck. Some may be coins, some may be pentacles, you may have swords, you may have arrows, you may have wands, you may have bones, things like that. They can change, which is always, always, always important to refer back to the booklets that usually come with each deck. Your minor arcana are going to come ace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, page, knight, queen, king. Again, depending on your deck, there may be a princess thrown in there. It all depends on the deck and who made the deck. So, as a quick reference, your major arcana meanings, your swords are going to usually be associated with thinking, matters of the mind, intellectual and rational decision making, and they are part of the element of air. So they're going to give air energy. Your cups are going to be associated with emotions and matters of the heart, and those are associated with the element of water. Your pentacles are going to be financial, material, and physical matters, abundance, and prosperity. Those are associated with the earth element. And then last, your wands are associated with inspiration, creativity, endeavors, and transformation, and those go with your element of fire. That's about what I have for basic arcana meanings, basic suit meanings, just as general as they get. So when we do our episode on reading tarot, we will also go into how to connect with your deck. Actually, I should probably go over that. Yeah. We'll go over that in just a second. But we'll go over how to bless your deck for reading for another person, how to read for yourself, stuff like that. Before we go any farther into my beginnings of what each card means. So, connecting with your deck is something that is very personal. That is very between you and your deck. And like I said, I have 9 decks sitting in front of me right now. And I love each and every deck with all of my heart. But if I want to do a reading, I will usually always go with my Hermetic Tarot deck. I don't know if you can see it because of the glare. Bring it over here. Block some of the light. Yeah, there we go. My Hermetic Tarot deck. This is one I had promised my husband I wasn't going to buy any more tarot decks when I went out with a couple of friends to go witchy shopping. And I had actually looked at this deck at one store that day, and we went to a second store, and that deck literally jumped off the shelf at me. So I got it, even though I told him I wasn't going to get one. The next day, I woke up and decided I was going to look through it. Just look through it, see what the cards looked like, see if they were pretty, because I didn't actually look at the deck before I bought it. I was looking at a wall of tarot cards, and that one jumped out at me, so I grabbed it. And that's about the only time I have ever cried looking through a deck of tarot cards, because it's just such a pretty deck in my opinion. It's also sassy. Very, very sassy. And you're going to get decks that are going to do that. So what I would do to connect with your deck is sit yourself down with your deck when you have a good 15-20 minutes of extra quiet time. And you're going to sit down and you're going to look through all of your cards. Look through each card individually, one by one. Look at it. See what you think of it. And then after that, you're going to take the time to shuffle your deck. I usually do my readings sitting in bed. And I will set my deck down and fan it. And then just scramble it all together. Because I do my readings with the inverted meaning in all of them. So that one is completely up to you if you don't want to do inverted readings or your deck does not have inverted meanings. Shuffle it as you would like a deck of cards. If you shuffle and bridge, make sure you face your cards the right way to do so. You can go online and find several different pre-reading blessings that you can do with your deck. And if you do that, that's fine. You don't have to. Witchcraft is a you do, you boo kind of feel. So if you don't feel like doing a blessing before every reading, you don't have to. Rarely do I ever. But after you have looked through your entire deck and decided that you wanted to do a reading, before you shuffle, make sure you ask your question. Be very specific with your question. Be very open with your question. Don't beat around the bush. Don't bullshit. Don't try and ask it a specific way to try and get the answer that you want. Ask your question. Am I going to find a boyfriend this year? Am I going to get married this year? Will I be able to find my dream job? Very specific, very straightforward. Don't look at your deck and go, oh, well, this guy really, really likes me, and I just really kind of want to know if maybe I might kind of have a chance. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's the surefire way to get a super bullshitty answer from your deck. I know that from experience. Trust me. But once you've asked your question, don't really think about anything else. Make sure that question is in the forefront of your mind as you are shuffling your cards, and then deal your spread however you so choose to deal your spread. Some people do the Celtic cross spread. Some people do super fancy heart spreads. Some people do 13 card spreads. I do a 3-card spread. 3 cards. That's all I do. Because, to be honest, most of the time, I don't have enough time in my day to do a bullshitty 47-card reading. I know some people have the time, and if you have the time, that's fantastic. Find the most elaborate spread you want to and do it. I have done bigger spreads. They're a little bit more confusing, and you do have to really, really pay attention to what card is in what position. I prefer to do a 1, 2, 3, a past, present, future reading. And usually it does pretty good as to giving me an answer close to what I'm looking for. So, but then from there, after you do that, you can do readings for other people. You can continue to do readings for yourself. I would suggest continue doing readings for yourself. If you have friends, family, whatever, that are willing to let you read for them, are okay with you doing magic, with you being into occult material, by all means, practice on them. Just make sure, again, their question is very specific and very straightforward. Now, when you're reading for somebody else, you can have them cut the deck, however you choose. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into going through the very first card of the deck, which is our very first card of the major arcana. Sorry, I can't talk today. Which is going to be the Fool. Fool. The Fool. Now, as I show you these cards, I'm going to show you the deck that they come from, and show you the back, and kind of show you some of the cards that come in the deck, because some of the artwork is very, very pretty. So our first one is the Fool. Again, see if I can cut out some of the light there. This is one of the most basic Fool cards you're going to see. And light a little bit and see if that helps some. Kind of. Let's see if I can There we go. Block some of the light. This is the most basic card that you're going to see. It comes from the Rider-Waite deck, the Rider-Waite Smith deck. I know some tarot enthusiasts would be very upset, or are very upset that it is called the Rider-Waite deck and not the Rider-Waite Smith deck. It all depends on your interpretation on how you see everything. Now, this deck does come with its own little booklet, and inside it does go through all of the cards, their meanings, upright and inverted, stuff like that. So the backs of these cards are pretty basic. Stars, blue with stars. Blue with stars. Let's see. Now being a, hold on, let me make sure I got a couple of them at least in the right way. They are, I think I have the Radiant edition of this deck, so it is brighter colors, stuff like that. But there's some of the artwork on some of the cards. Like I said, it is a very, very vibrant deck. Very pretty. I know it's hard to see through a camera, but it is a very pretty deck. Now your full upright means new beginnings, new adventures, new opportunities, unlimited possibilities, pleasure, passion, thoughtlessness, and rashness. So it's a lot of new beginnings, starting something, anything new. Now, of course, your interpretation on what new is will be all dependent on the question that is asked. That is the upright position. If you read inverted or reversed, this is what your card's going to look like upside down. It's the exact same thing. It's not like it magically changes. We don't do that kind of magic. We do magic with a K. And that means a bad decision, indecisions, apathy, hesitation, and a faulty choice. So most of your inverted readings are going to be the opposite of what your upright readings were. Now, that is the Radiant deck, the Rider-Waite deck. So most of my big explanations are going to be based on the Rider-Waite set and the Rider-Waite definition and explanation of each. So next we have the Hermetic Deck. Maybe. There we go. That's kind of pretty, actually. This is my favorite deck. This is what I use all the time for the most part. This one is the Foolish Man or the Spirit of Ether. Now, it comes out of this deck. And this one also comes with its own explanation on what it is. It comes with, another cute little booklet. But like the explanation for this one, idea, thought, sensitivity, the flesh, eternal life, spirituality, initiative, folly, foolishness, and then inverted is bad decision, indecision, apathy, and hesitation. Alright, so next we have, coming from this deck, a Tattoo Tarot deck. This one was gifted to me. And so this one comes with its own little book, like most tarot decks do. Here is the back of the cards. It's just kind of a basic red and tan color. See? The reason I really like this deck, and I had looked at it myself, but I wasn't too hip on buying it. Because it wasn't yelling at me or anything. The artwork for this deck is very traditional tattoo style. Very traditional tattoo style. And it's very pretty. So the full in this deck looks like this. This is the full with pretty teal colors with the dog. Now, this one, the full, so in the book, I don't know that I'm going to get a good enough visual of it, but it does not have an inverted meaning, so you can either do it two ways. You could just not read inverted or reverse, or you can and use a basic description or a basic reading on what the inverted means. So for the Fool for this one is the Seeker, innocence, courage, humor, living in the now, journeys outset, burst of energy, everything is open, all paths available, madness, folly, instability, and apathy. So actually looking at it, it does have the inverted. It just doesn't have it set aside as something different. That one I'm going to come back to. My next one, this one is one of my favorite decks, and I didn't even realize that this person had created a tarot deck until my husband pointed it out to me. And this is Alan Roberts, the Beauty of Horror tarot deck. I love his coloring books. He has several Beauty of Horror coloring books. Not to tag this guy's stuff in here, but they're fucking gorgeous. They're gory. They're beautiful, and I love coloring them. If the box is shining, if you can't tell, this is not just reflection. The red is actually shiny. I love shiny things. If you are to pick this deck up and you do really like it and want it, be very careful and mindful of which one you pick up, because down here it says gorgeous colored cards. He does have a separate one that has uncolored cards where you can color your own tarot cards. They're the same design as this deck. They are just uncolored. So you can actually take the time to color them if that's something you would want to do or be interested in. These tarot cards they're not gory per se. They're a little on the darker side, but they're super pretty. Again, it comes with its own little guidebook that walks you through the description of each card. This is going to be like the upright meaning and then your inverted meanings. So these are, per the book, red, inverted, and upright. The back of the card's pretty basic. It just has the fortune teller that's on the front of the box. It has the fortune teller and some pretty decor around it. So if you've never seen this deck, or you've never seen this guy's coloring books, I'm going to show you some of what the artwork looks like. I'm not sure if that's making much of a difference, but like I said, it's a little bit on the darker side as far as content goes. This is the Fool for that deck. it is another very, very pretty card. I love all my cards. I think they're all pretty. Sassy as fuck, but pretty. But there's that one. If you see a deck, most of the time you can find them on Amazon. You might have to search at other places. I know when we picked this one up, we picked it up at Books A Million. So, which that's another good place to pick up tarot cards and pick up books. They have gotten into the metaphysical, spiritual, witchcraft stuff. And they're another good place to look for books and cards and everything if you don't have a local metaphysical shop that you can go to. So my next one is going to be my Antique Anatomy deck. See if I can move that so I don't have to cover it as much. That doesn't really do it much. There we go. There we go. The Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is a deck that I have stared at and stared at and stared at for a long time. I was able to look at it in store and see the cards for myself, and this is just one of those decks that I was like, the artwork itself, I need it, I have to have it. Got to. So again, this is another one that comes with its own little guidebook, as they all do. They show pictures of what the cards are, and then the description of the cards and how to read them. This one is fun because instead of the basic cups, wands, coins, and swords, it has elixirs, rods, blades, and coins, which is something a little different, which is why it's always, always, always important. Guidebook. Read your guidebook, because not only do most of the guidebooks go through what each card means, a lot of them have different spreads in them and things like that. And then, like, this one runs through, like, the history. I know you can't really see it, but it runs through the history of tarot, numerology and tarot, astrology and tarot, some basic little left to right kind of things, comparison back and forth. And actually on the back of the cards, you can see the pictures for the different minor arcana suits, which is pretty cool. And here's why I had to have this. This artwork is phenomenal. I love it. This is what the Fool looks like in this deck. It is another interesting deck. The next set that I have, so this one's a little different. This is another newer deck that I have. This was part of my Mother's Day present. This is another deck I've been looking at, but I've got to do a lot more looking into it. This is my Occult Tarot deck. It is also shiny on the front. Pretty. I got it at a local metaphysical shop. This one's a little different than most tarot decks because it has demons on the cards. And each one has a connection to the traditional tarot set, and it goes through each and every one of those. What's interesting about these is everything that is in the book, everything that's in the book on this card is on the card, which you don't see that very often. And like I said, this is a very different deck, and I've yet to actually do the reading on how to use it properly, because I don't really feel like summoning a demon. Some of you may, that may be some of your vibe. You can't accidentally summon a demon. I have seen that. It's very, very hard to accidentally summon a demon. But I don't know that I want to take my chances. Because, something about throwing a demon into my life. I got enough shit going on. I don't need a demon. So I have 3 more decks left. The last one is a beast of a deck, and I'll show you why when we get there. These last 2 decks I have are fan-based decks, not fan-base. Show pop culture based decks, which I love them. The artistry in them is very pretty. They're close to what they resemble on TV. I don't know how to describe it. So the first one is the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. Yes, I have it. Yes, I love the Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, I love Tim Burton. It is what it is. But this is the Fool in that deck. It is Jack and Zero hanging out in the woods, going towards where the trees are, going into the different holidays. Again, because I feel like it's important to show you this, each one comes with a guidebook that go through everything. And this one again has a description of the card, the upright meaning and the inverted meaning, and also, as most of them do, a picture of the card so you can see what it looks like. Super, super pretty. So here's the backs of these. I know it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but these little center triangle, what the fuck, diamond shapes here are actually purple. The card itself is black, white filigree, whitish gray filigree, and then the centers are purple. And just to show you, the artistry does kind of stay true to the movie itself and Tim Burton style. And then my last big deck, or my last deck that's important, is a supernatural deck. I'm a supernatural nerd, watched all the episodes, rewatched all the episodes, gonna watch them again. Again, this one is super shiny and super pretty, has sparkles on it. Everybody loves sparkle. And if you notice, most of these do say tarot deck and guidebook. Guidebook. Important. Look. Guidebook! These will save your life. They are your cheat sheet into that specific deck. These guidebooks, you can use them as you want. Some of them have blank space at the bottom that you can write in. You can always write your notes on sticky notes. Slap that sticky note right there. Keep your notes. Maybe you have a card that you've done 4 or 5 readings over the past 7, 8 days, and this card has shown up in 3 of those readings. might be an important card, might be a card to keep your eye on. So here's what the Fools looks like in this deck. Again, it's kind of hard to see. Once I get the blog up and going, I will post pictures of the cards. The backs of these are sigils. Super pretty. Sigils, also something we'll talk about in a later episode. But as you can see, one of them is upright and one of them is inverted. They do look different. Not that the backs matter, but they matter to me. So this last deck, there's a story behind this deck. I was naturally, again, not in the market for tarot cards. I had actually just purchased or just helped fund a deck on Kickstarter. And that is the deck that is currently on the way. But I just helped fund that one so that I could get my hands on it. And this deck popped up in the recommended. So I hopped off Kickstarter. I was like, I don't really need another deck. And I hopped on Facebook, and you know how Facebook be. Facebook be dumb with the ads and everything. And I seen an ad for the deck. Alright, cool. It's an ad for the deck. Well, that same ad popped up like 2 or 3 more times. And I was like, alright, I've never had an ad for a deck of cards or anything for that matter pop up this much. So I have to have it. So I hopped on and we helped fund it. Well, then they come out with expansion packs to go with this deck. Cool. I'll take them. So this one is called the Alleyman Tarot Deck. This is a collection of all kinds of different styles of tarot cards. The fun part about it is if you are to get the basic deck, you do get like 6 deaths. Whoa. Yeah, I know. It sounds like a lot. And I think with the expansion packs, I got all of them. I think I gained like 2 more deaths after that. Good times. So here is this is the 2 full cards that they include in the deck itself. And if I were to look, let me hop on this one. This one, it's a little rubber ducky, super cute. Here's the back for that one. As you can see, the back is different for this one. They are all different tarot decks. So this one actually has in the book down here in the little corner where that tarot card comes from. So there's a possibility that you could find that entire deck and purchase it. So back to this deck. Here's why 9 deaths does not sound super crazy. Let me add these 2 cards back in. This is my deck of tarot cards. This is an enormous deck of tarot cards. But it's a lot. It's a lot compared to a deck of tarot cards. Like, it's a lot of tarot cards. But like I said, each and every single card in this deck was handpicked by the Alleyman, who is the creator of this deck of cards, or this deck of tarot cards. Yeah, I said that right. But actually, that's still too big of a stack. Hold on. The backs are different for every single card, not there are not two cards of the same deck in here. And like super cute kitty cat page of wands, super cute, super adorable, followed by death. And they are all very, very interesting cards. It's hard to comment on like the artwork and the style of these because they are all so different. I suggest, my suggestion, get the deck. Get the whole deck. Get all the expansion packs for the deck. Get the deck. But that's all I have for today. So, our next tarot episode will most definitely be shorter when we go over the Magician. Because that one, I will just run you through what the Magician is, the meanings of the Magician in the RWS or Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and then show you all of the versions of the Magician that I have so that you can see the difference between all of them. And then we will move on in that fashion from this point forward. I just wanted to be able to show you where I'm getting all of my tarot cards from, what decks I'm pulling from, to show you the cards, and also because I love tarot cards. So again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to ask. Like and subscribe, so this way you know when we upload our next video. These first couple ones are going to come pretty rapid fire. So, but again, I will link all of my social medias and everything to the description, and then you will be able to find me from there. Thanks again for watching, and blessed be!